Hello, this is Graham Brown. Today I want to talk to you about meatballs. Yes, big steaming meatballs. I'm not a big fan either. So why are we talking about meatballs? Well, meatballs really is an analogy for how modern marketing is done using modern technologies but with old-fashioned techniques. What am I talking about here? Well, really, if you want to connect with today's consumers, particularly with young consumers, it's not just a case of simply using Web 2 technologies, for example, YouTube or blogging, and transplanting that on top of old-fashioned techniques such as direct marketing, below-the-line advertising, and so on. What it's really about is redefining how marketing is done. And really, that's the nub of this book that I've been reading called Meatball Sundae by Seth Godin, which probably a lot of you already know if you're involved in marketing, which I think is a great read and really sort of continues where he leaves off with writings such as The Purple Cow. Anyway, back to the plot. Meatballs. I'll give you an example. If you're a technology company and you're marketing to young consumers and you really want to connect with them, possibly one of the ways you'd like to do that is using modern services such as YouTube, MySpace, Facebook and so on. But really how marketing companies are doing this now is they're building lists and they're using old-fashioned techniques such as cost per measurement. And as Jack Welch says, what you measure gets done. So if you're measuring the effectiveness of marketing according to cost per impression, cost per click-through, then you're only ever going to get one type of result. And that is a short-term impact on your bottom line and a very long-term cost deficit to your company. Okay, so marketing is very short-term focused. If you're a mobile company, you'll commission a marketing agency to go out there and increase brand awareness, increase your market share, or ultimately increase your consumer ARPU. But the flip side of those particular measurements is that no matter what kind of marketing you do, it's only ever going to be short-lived, because once you remove the marketing from the actual activity and connection with your young consumers, what happens is the relevance dies away. Now, what I talk about a lot in Mobile Youth is connecting with young consumers on the long-term basis. But it's all very well talking about that, but if you consistently have a short-term measurement within your company, such as ARPU or market share, then you'll only ever get short-term results. So you can go out there, you can go to a marketing conference, you can go to a presentation, you can sit in a board meeting, you've probably sat in plenty already, and they've talked about connecting with young consumers. It's common sense. Now all you need to do is go out there and talk like young consumers talk. You need to put your brand in jeans. That's how modern marketing manifests when it tries to connect with young consumers. However, here's the problem, is that actually the DNA of the company is based on simple short-term measurements. If it's marketing, it's cost per. If it's operational effectiveness, it's ARPU. So whatever you do within the company, whatever you talk about, what happens is that within time, the company itself gravitates back towards what is rewarded in the company, a successful activity. So if you produce some kind of marketing activity which increases ARPU, then that is rewarded and the CEO is rewarded by the shareholders of the company. But it's not necessarily good for the long-term prospects of the company. What we're talking about here is organic growth. So you need to really look at how you as a company can connect with young consumers using different kinds of metrics. Now, if you're a mobile company, ARPU is obviously very important and you're not going to change that overnight. But you could consider introducing new metrics into your measurement that may help make and create new strategies that maybe take your company in a different direction and maybe connect with young consumers long term. For example, consumer lifetime value, net promoter score, or customer churn. These are three core metrics which are highly underused in the mobile industry, but extremely valuable for correlating long-term growth of the company with the marketing effectiveness of the campaigns which you particularly are involved in at the moment. So, where am I going with this? Well, look at any of these particular brands which we feature on Mobile Youth. And there's a particular series that may be of interest to you called the Great Youth Brand Series. And basically what that does is it features brands which we feel are next generation brands. So for example, Red Bull, Toyota Scion, Nike, Jones Soda, JetBlue. These are all brands which are actively out there connecting with young consumers at their level within their community and really aren't looking at the short-term measurements which so much of the technology industry is caught up with. So in summary, I'll bring you more updates from Meatball Sundae in due course. I've got to actually get through this book, and if it's anything like the meatballs it talks about, it's going to be difficult to digest. But it's written by Seth Godin. He's a great author, and already I'm engaged with this book. And just as the marketing he talks about, his writing is engaging itself. So take a leaf out of Seth Godin's book. Be short and snappy. I'll cut to the point. Change your metrics, you'll change your results. If you keep the same metrics that you use in marketing and your operational effectiveness, no matter what you talk about, you can talk about being a customer-focused organisation, you can talk about listening to young consumers, nothing will change in the long term. Until next time, this is Graham Brown signing out, mobileyouth.org.